Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. I'm your DJ and host, Sam Wilson Jr., and I'm here to bring you the history genre of black music gospel, jazz, blues, old school classic soul, old school hip hop, today's hip hop and R&B, Caribbean, Latin, Afrobeat, Afro-Latina, blue-eyed soul, disco, go-go, line dances, and the Lost 45s. So come with me as I take you on to a trip to the history genre destination of black music. Right now on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and I have a very special guest on my show. This lady that I'm about to introduce represents the East Coast, and I got a chance to check out her music videos on YouTube and her EP 333, which includes the song Dessert, and all of her singles are streaming right now on iTunes.
Yeah.
Please help me welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Nayo Dez. Hi, Nayo. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fine, and you? Welcome to my podcast. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight to talk about some music, some background stuff. I'm really excited.
Okay, so the world doesn't know who you are, America doesn't know who you are, so we're happy to have you here. So let us begin, shall we?
Yes.
Now, where were you born?
I was born and raised in Orange, New Jersey. So I'm from Jersey. And my parents are from Haiti. So I represent the Haitian Americans that are in this country.
Okay. Now, were your parents in the music industry or did they had 9 to 5 day jobs?
No, they had 9 to 5 day jobs. My mom has been a nurse for over 35 years. And my dad, he's a pastor and he has his church in Florida. So yeah, my parents they were never in the music industry, but my dad does love to sing and play the guitar.
Okay. Now, which high school did you go to?
Now, I went to an art school in Orlando, Florida, named Osceola County School for the Arts. And they used to have us sing at Universal Studios, the Disney World. And so I had a lot of exposure and experience through my high school. I was really fortunate to be going to an art school. So it's what really like lit me up, which let me know that music was definitely something that I wanted to pursue.
And which college did you go to?
Well, okay, so I'm currently still in college. I wanted to go to Berklee College of Music, which I did get in on a Diana Ross scholarship. But my family had some crisis, and then I ended up going to nursing school. So I've been a nurse for over 15 years. I'm in school for my master's to get my nurse practitioner. So I am currently in school, and it's also another school out of Florida. So, yeah.
Okay, you just saved me a trip because I was going to ask you the next question. What was your major? So we'll leave that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Nursing is my major,
Now,
yeah.
who did... Okay. Now, who did you want it to be when you grow up?
Um, I didn't want to be, anyone specific, but there were a lot of artists that I, admired and was inspired by and motivated by, which, especially early on in music, majority of my exposure was to gospel music because I grew up in the church. So, Donnie McClurkin and Yolanda Adams, those were really big, artists, vocalists that I respect, musicians that I, looked up to and continue to still look up to. But I didn't want to necessarily be like them. I just know that I wanted to be on stage, because of watching them. Like watching them made me want to be on stage. And I actually got to meet Donnie McClurkin in 2018, and I have like a semi-viral video on YouTube about that, where I was just at one of his concerts, and I was just singing, one of his songs that he was teaching the crowd, and then he handed me the mic. So that was like a full circle moment that I had.
Now, have you sung in the church choir? And if so, which church did you belong to?
Um, so I always went to Pentecostal churches. Like I said, my dad has a church, so I always sang as a part of my dad's church. I've always been in the choir, worship teams, always been singing. But I felt that there was a part of time that, I was doing that and I was singing gospel music, and I was like, I don't want to sing it if I don't really feel it. But being part of a choir is so great, because being surrounded by all these different voices and these great personalities, it really gave me a chance to have that fellowship. So I love, choirs and groups and the voices blending together, the harmonies. So being in church, like, it really gave me my foundation in music.
Was being a singer your calling?
I believe so. I have some crazy stories. Like, I cannot wait until I get an opportunity to like really reach more people to tell them the crazy story, because I feel like it won't even be believable right now. But when God wants you to do something, you can put your little flavor on it, your little twist on it. But as much as you want to run away from what you're supposed to do, it'll always come find you. And as much as I just want to just work my job and everything, music always finds me and it calls me, and I just feel so uncomfortable going long periods of time without singing. And I don't aim to be better than anyone or compare myself to anybody, but I do want to sing my heart song, which is just being able to express the experiences that I'm having on this earth through my music.
Now, growing up, who were some of your favorite singers?
Okay, Lauryn Hill is at the top of my list. Number one, because she's from New Jersey and I'm from Jersey, and I always felt like we have a special connection. We have a Jersey bond. But also because of the raspiness in her voice. I always felt like, even though I sang soprano, like right now I'm more like a high alto or a soprano too, and her voice, I get that comparison a lot actually when I sing like a Lauryn Hill song, which I love the entire Miss Education of Lauryn Hill. So she's like my number one like inspiration, somebody that I really admire. Like, she is conscious in her lyrics, and she's very authentic and unique in her style. It's just like, what can't you love about her, right? India Ari, another beautiful black woman that sings what she means and means what she sings and has a message in her music. Like, it's just people that really, aim to express themselves in their music and are unapologetically themselves. Those are the people that I always am attracted to, as far as like other musicians or other artists, singers that I listen to. Beyonce is always gonna be, I don't know about everybody else a lot. There's got a lot of, rumor mills going on around in, Neverland, Hollyweird or whatever. But I love Beyonce. I've seen her from Destiny's Child in my childhood, just watching her grow as an artist and as an individual soloist. And I'm just like, I've always admired her journey and her voice and her vocals. And I feel like she doesn't get a lot of credit because she's a great entertainer. So I just feel like there can be a balance between talent and entertainment. And she's proof of that. So those are like my top three. My top three artists that I would say are like the biggest inspirations for me too, as well.
Now, who were some of your musical influences that had inspired you to sing? You mentioned those three artists.
Yes, yeah, I think the biggest The biggest one that I would have to say would have to be Yolanda Adams. The reason why is because Yolanda Adams has such a ridiculous range when it comes to her vocals, her full voice, her falsetto. I think that I learned how to harmonize by just, practicing her songs. I would sing them over and over and harmonize with her voice. And so, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, she probably, she doesn't even know. She helped me, figure out my notes and stuff. She helped me learn how to get it together. She don't even know. She inspires so many people, and I just love, who she is as a person outside of that, because now we're finding out about people's lives. So I'm just happy that there are still good people out there that, are authentic and have pure talent, and it's not just like about the popularity, it's about the talent.
Now, how would you describe your sound of music? Is it neo soul or Afrocentric or traditional R&B or songs with a social message?
Now, I feel like I'm a combination of all of those. I do. I feel like I'm a combo of the neo soul because I want to get people to think deeper and to, go deeper into themselves. But I also have songs that have messages in them. And I also have songs that are just fun. Like, so I think I just incorporate, you know, everything that I'm experiencing now or have been experiencing in my life so far. And then I'm just kind of, experimenting with the sound. But the sound, like I said, I have some songs that I feel like are traditional R&B, that kind of just give you that baby making vibe. And then I have other songs that, I'm telling people, you know, don't be afraid to be different. Be yourself. So many people are, following trends and, styles of, not only, and even in a dangerous way, like, getting, their body done and altering themselves, modifying themselves. And it's okay to just, be the way that God made you, and, I feel like that's lost a lot, especially in the black community and in our culture. We, people in black music, R&B, hip hop, that we're veering towards more of the superficial. And I feel like you can be influential and you can be powerful and not follow a trend and not follow a way of life that can be destructive if our children were to get involved with it or to do it. We wouldn't want to see our neighbors, dying of surgeries because they wanted to look like an Instagram model. Like, it's just so many things that I feel like is lost in our music now, and it's all about, popularity and the looks and all of that. And I'm just like more geared to just be yourself and accept yourself, because I have well, I don't have small children, but I have children, and I want, when they listen to my music, that they actually don't feel like they have to be like me. They can finish listening to the music and say, you know what, I'm comfortable in my own skin because that song encouraged me. So I have all types of stuff. I have things for different crowds.
I was looking at your bio and I was reading something, and I'm saying this and I quote: in 5 years, I see myself in collaboration with some of the most relevant and influential artists and black leaders of our time to install change and peace amongst all people through music. Now, describe that on what's your sound and how can you bring some positive vibes to our generation.
Yeah, I think my overall mindset and intention is pure, and I feel like I said, that's what's really lost in today's music. Now, creators and artists are not creating music for the love or for the unification of people. They're creating music to stay relevant or to be popular or to be heard. But the intention may not be for the masses, may not be for the collective. But my intention is for everyone to be involved, for everyone to come together in a way that we all celebrate one another and each other's differences. And me being in the healthcare field, I feel like I touch a lot of lives, with medicine, and I help heal people. And I feel like, music therapy is a thing. It's a real, therapy that, can help people heal. So I feel like if I can combine the two, medicine and music, and really collaborate with the community, especially the Black community, because I feel like we don't have a lot of things that are our own, that we can call our own. And I know that there are a lot of, brown and Black girls and boys that, want to do something more, but they don't have an opportunity or chance to. And that's something that I want to be able to be a part of in my community and other communities when I travel and I visit different healthcare centers, because that's my forte. I try to help people and educate them and give them, as much advice as I can legally without getting into trouble. So yeah, it's, I want to give the music a different look. I want people to look deeper into what it is that we're doing and not focus so much on the person, like the imagery. I think we focus too much on the person and not what they're doing or what they're saying. And I'm sorry, my light just went out. My light just went out.
Well, you're not alone, because that happens with me. Sometimes I keep forgetting putting on my light. So you're not alone.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, I can see you now.
Yeah, but that is my hope. Those are my goals. That is my objective, for that to happen. Obviously, I can't tell the future. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years, but that is my hope. That is my hope, to collaborate with people in the community, people that have a greater platform than I do, to collaborate with me and just spread that message of love, like no matter where you're from, and like especially what's going on in the climate of our country, like with politics and everything. It's even more important to talk about unity. It's even more important to stand up for everyone that is voiceless right now in this, administration. So for me, it's going beyond just being an artist or having music that sounds good, but being an advocate for yourself and for other people that look like you. Even in healthcare, it's so controversial, like, transgender and the LGBT community and all of that. But we're educated to like treat everyone equally. So if I have to be held to that standard as a healthcare provider, then we should all be held to that standard and respect one another. We don't have to agree or like each other necessarily, but respect each other's perspectives and point of view, and work together to build a place that's safe for everybody to be. So like, I can be an advocate and be an artist. I can use my stage time to say, hey, respect your neighbors. DEI is important. Like, you don't have to just be an artist. You can literally infect people with a message of inclusion and that relationship of that unity that we're looking for. We don't have to be scared and say, oh, I'm going to just sing my songs, and if people like me, then, and if I get more followers, then I'll talk about politics, or then I'll feel comfortable and safe to say, no, I want to do it now. I want to do it from the beginning. I want to talk about this now. I want to talk how Black is amazing now. I want to talk about, what's happening in our society, because a lot of people are just sticking their heads in the sand and they're afraid, and we're pushing out music, to get people to listen to it. But what's the purpose? And the purpose is, let's get us together. Let's unify. Let's build. Let's get strong. Let's make our voices heard, and let's make a difference.
Amen. I'm very glad that you're continuing the path that the late Marvin Gaye with his What's Going On LP and Stevie Wonder continuing his message songs. And yes, everyone at Gamble and Huff, they founded Philadelphia International Records. Their slogan was, there is a message in our music, there is a message in our song, so get your information from the sounds of communication. And yes, you're picking up where Public Enemy and BDP, KRS-One left off. You know, that's the voice that is missing from hip hop. So we needed that voice. So I'm very glad that you're picking up where they had left off. Now, I got a chance to check out your music videos on YouTube, including Cherie, Sleep, uh, Paral, uh,
Paralysis,
whatever,
sleep paralysis.
Dessert, pa- Sleep Paralysis. Thank you, thank you. Dessert, it's the real world for me and stay. Please share with our audience on what those songs are all about.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Cherie. Cherie, I when I first wrote Cherie, it was just kind of a demo. I didn't get to go back in and, play with it, finalize it, put some more stank on it. None of that. I just had to do it quick and, get in and out of the studio. But I wanted to incorporate some French words because I was like, well, not everybody will know to look up, Creole words for Haitian Creole, but Haitian Creole is a breakdown of French. It's like slang, French slang. So I was like, let me just incorporate some French words, but still leave my tag as like the Haitian tag under it so then people could know that I was Haitian. And I wanted to incorporate some of that so whenever it was played or heard, that people would like think, is she French? Is she Haitian? Just kind of, get them thinking. And originally I wrote that song because it was like a way for me to try to manifest the type of love that I wanted. And I think that, it was just meant to be just melodic and just romantic. That's all. And that's why when even for the idea of the video was very simple. I didn't want to do too much, and I'm not somebody that likes to show a lot of skin. Um, so I just wanted to something to be, simple, but you still get the gist of like it's just a romantic song. Um, it's a real world. I love that song because I think I was just upset when I wrote it, but I still wanted a song that kind of gave me that 90s feel and that 90s bounce to it. Um, and I think there was a part in It's a Real World where I say, black on black, they always lying on us, something like that. And it just was kind of like, I'm so tired of us being blamed for our own deaths. Like when there's like a police brutality and there's excessive force being used, now they want to dig into that, person of color's background and like if they had like a drug screen that was positive 6 months ago or something, they try to like, throw dirt on the name of the person that was essentially a victim in the original situation. And it just, I think I wrote that because I was just tired of like, stuff like that happening and then us being blamed for why bad things happen to us in our community. So that was It's a Real World for me because I was like, this is really the world. This is really the real world. Even when Roe versus Wade was overturned, like I was like, this is really happening. Like this is real stuff that's happening, like that we fought to get put into place, and now it's being dismantled, and we're going backwards in time. But that was what that one was about. Stay I wrote, it was like one of the first songs that I wrote, and it was just me expressing how I felt being in a situationship where I was expressing my feelings and emotions for this person, and they weren't being 100% clear with me, and I was like, well, if you don't tell me to stay, then I'm not going to stay, because I have a life that I want to live, and I want to be happy, and I don't want to live in uncertainty and confusion. So, if you want me to stay, you got to tell me. And if you don't, then I'm going to leave. And that's basically what Stay was about. What was the other song? Did I miss a song? I feel like I missed one. Sherry, It's a Real World, Stay.
Dessert.
Dessert. Okay, so Dessert is actually really old. This song is at least 15, maybe 20 years old. I wrote it when I was a teenager. Let me be dessert. You can have whatever you like. So when I wrote that, I just kind of was trying to be sexy, but I was still young, so I just didn't really know what I was trying to do, but I just wanted to be appealing in some way. So that's why when I made a video for Dessert, and it's terrible, man. It's terrible. It's terrible. I didn't promote it. I just wanted to have a video attached to the song. And, when I look at sleep paralysis and Sherry, and then I look at my older videos, I'm like, man, you can see the growth. You can see the change. Like when I got a little bit better and not scared of the camera. And Sleep Paralysis is another song that I collaborated with a friend who I went to the art school with, same art school in Orlando. And, when I first heard the music, I heard the instrumental, the first thing I thought about was sleep. I felt like it was like a lullaby almost. And, he turned to me and he said, what is this song going to be about? It's going to be about a guy? Is it going to be about breakup or you fall in love? And I was like, no, it's about sleep. He looked at me and he's like, what? I've never written a song about sleep before. And I was like, yeah, but have you ever felt like you were stuck in a dream, like you were dreaming and you wanted to wake up, but you couldn't, like you just tried to shake your body and everything. And that's an experience, that's a shared human experience. White, black, green, blue, whatever color wherever you're from, you probably been stuck in a dream before. Or you probably fell in your sleep before, and then you woke up suddenly. Like, that's a shared human experience. So I was like, let me write about that, because I think other people will, find the commonality in it and, relate to it. And it was something that I was experiencing, like, literally and, like, metaphorically in a way, because I'm stuck in a dream that I really want to pursue, but I also have these obligations in my reality making me feel like I'm not going to be able to wake up and see this dream come into fruition. So that was just another side idea of what the interpretation for sleep paralysis would be.
Now, let's talk about your latest EP called 333, which includes the song Dessert. Tell us about your EP and how did you came up with the name 333?
Okay, so my 333 EP is, kind of like, it was kind of like an experiment, because it came out couple years ago. I actually have something newer that I am about to put out, but 333, when I came up with it, I was really getting into my spiritual journey. I was really like trying to figure out the different ways that God was communicating with me in my life. And I just I had to figure out how to block out all of the noise of what was going on in the world, like around me, in our country, or even around the world, not even here, but just things that were going on. And I realized that I was like I'm a highly sensitive person and empathic. So I'm if I watch something and it's like super sad, then I'll be, I'll feel sad, or I'll feel like I can feel that person's pain through the screen, So then I was like, man, I need to find a way to block out all of this noise and all of this negativity. And that's when I had, really started getting into angel numbers and like looking up what different things meant, and, started digging into, what God's purpose for me in this lifetime would be. And so when I found the angel numbers and 333 was kept popping up, I decided that that's what this whole thing was, because it was an experiment. I didn't know how anything would come out. I didn't, professionally do everything that I was supposed to do. I just kind of put it out there, and I was just like, if people like it, they like it. If they don't, that's fine too, because, I know that I love it. So I just want to just put it out there just to test the waters of how I would work, my music and those songs, as an artist.
Now let's talk about your new song, Winter, which was released in January.
Yes.
Tell us on what the song is all about. I got a chance to listen to it, despite the cussing.
Oh, there was cussing in it.
Well, I saw the red label where it says E explicit lyrics.
Oh my
I
gosh!
didn't listen to it, but I saw it on YouTube.
Okay. I try really, really hard not to say bad things in my music because I know my kids might hear it. So Winter, I wrote Winter in, I think 2023 is when I started working on Winter. I was homeless. I was going through transitions. I was in between jobs. And I was staying out in my car. I had converted my car into like a little, bed, and like I took out the back seats and then made a bed. So I was staying in my car. I was going through it. I was working, but I hadn't gotten enough money to get a place yet. And then my ex calls me from like 7 years ago. I hadn't seen him in 7 years to that year. And then, I kind of thought it was like a sign. And I was like, oh, yes, I'm happy. So he flew me out to where he was. He took care of me. We spent every second together. And we spent like the entire like winter season, and that's when I had wrote that song. So the song was originally about him, getting me out of that situation and us falling in love again. And it's so crazy because we had spent, almost a year together, and then I found out that he was still married. So then I have other songs that explain what happened afterwards, but this was the song that, I was describing us falling in love. And I guess some of the, like when I mentioned liquor and like backwoods and blunts and stuff like that, because this is what's going on in our society. Like, socially, people are into, these things. So like I said, I say certain things to be relatable, because I've let a lot of people in my city and my hometown listen to it, and they immediately knew my references. But when I had written the first version of that song, they didn't understand all of my references. And I was like, I'm from Jersey. I got to figure this out. So I was like, let me play with the lyrics a little bit. And then I had, people give me ideas, and I ultimately, came up with the lyrics. But I was like, well, if anybody asks me, I'll just explain it. But basically, I was living in my car. That's why I said, my car bed is all right. So, because I had literally had a bed that I had made, built a platform, got the back seats taken out, built a bed in my car, and I was living in my car when he flew me out. And then we spent almost that entire year together, and it was amazing. And I wrote that song because we were madly, well, I thought we was madly in love, I don't know. And so and so that is what Winter is all about.
Now, how did you came up with the name Nayo Dez, and what does your name mean?
Okay, so Nayo Dez, when I came up with Nayo Dez, my name it's derived from my name, and my family's name. So my last name is like 13 letters. So when I was in school, I had to wear like a name tag with just my last name on it so I could remember how to spell it. So, so because of that, and all of my siblings had like gone through that, and my older brother, he decided that he was gonna shorten our last name from Del Risso to Des. And me and my siblings, we loved that idea, so I adapted the Des from there, because he legally got his name changed, name changed to Des. And Nayo was just short from my first name, which is Naomi, and they've been calling me Nayo ever since. So that's how I came up with Nayo Dez. It's just a combination of, what we came up with to, like, nicknames and shorten the family name.
Okay. Well, thanks for explaining it.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, here's a question that I always ask my guests: living or dead, which singer you wish you wanted to meet or to perform with?
I would love to meet and or perform with Lauren Hill. Nobody else. I could die happy. Because, like I said, you know, her just being, this beautiful black butterfly musician that created this life changing album that was able to infect and was contagious. Just like she almost has the same effect, like, Michael Jackson. I don't think I would be able to perform with him. I think I would be too starstruck. I think I would probably pass out like they did back in the day, like, but I feel like Lauren Hill, I would be able to actually hold a note with her, and I've always wanted to meet her, and I love her voice, and I've been compared to her a lot when I have performed some of her songs. So I feel like I'd be able to hold a mic and look into her eyes and sing, and then I could die happy after that. Like I could go peacefully. Okay, I believe she is the only person that I feel like that I would, as a living legend, be excited and elated and have the confidence to still, stand in her presence and sing. Everybody else, I think, would be a little bit too famous. Like, like I said, Michael Jackson, I'd probably just be passing out.
Now, here on the Black Soul Music Experience, I always ask my guests, who is the top 10 R&B black artist of all time? So, since I have you on this podcast, I'm going to bring you the today's hip hop and R&B artists of all time. Now, here's how it works.
Okay.
We do it like a top 10 countdown, like America's Top 10 with Casey Kasem. We start at the bottom five. We start at number 10 on who was the best singer or rapper but didn't get that recognition. Then we
Mm.
walk up to the top five and we found out who was the best artist of all time. That artist received those top 10 number one hits. That artist received gold, platinum, or double platinum, or triple platinum, or diamond platinum. That artist receive a Grammy or an American Music Award or a BET Award or a Soul Train Award or an MTV VMA Award, or that artist performed on American Bandstand or Soul Train or the Midnight Special or NBC Saturday Night Live or Solid Gold or any of the local shows across the country, or did that artist performed on PBS, or did they had their prime time special on CBS or NBC or ABC, or did they had that live concert special on HBO or Showtime? So, Nayo, I'm gonna put you to the test. Are you ready to take this challenge?
I
And
don't
if you
know.
need stuff, I'll help you.
Okay, sure. I'll try.
Okay. We're gonna start at number 10. Who should be at number 10?
Who should be at number 10 of all time? Oh Lord. Um, all time. I'm gonna go with Patti LaBelle. No, maybe.
Ah, Patti LaBelle. We'll put Patti LaBelle at number 10. She started out with Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, and then later changed to LaBelle, with Sarah Dash and Nona Hendrix. They're best known for their space outfit wardrobe when they first came on the scene in the 70s. And then Patti LaBelle went her own solo hits, including If Only You Knew, Love and Need and Want You, On My Own, Please Come Back and Kiss Away the Pain. But there was one time I was watching Motown Returns to the Apollo on NBC back in 1985. She came on stage with this hairdo. I was like, is that a hat or is that her real hair? I'm like, oh my goodness. It was like, oh, Patty. Patty will do anything. She's best remembered when, her shoes would be like,
Oh
her
yeah,
shoes
yeah.
on the catwalk.
That's hilarious.
And I got a chance to see her at the Hampton Coliseum back in June of 2002 with my church members. It was the Hampton Jazz Festival.
Oh,
I saw
nice.
Patti LaBelle that Friday night. She was known for that, kicking off that shoes. I was like, give me that shoe, give me that shoe. There will be a souvenir. And anything but that. So we were sitting all the way up them stairs in the Coliseum. So we'll put Patti LaBelle at number 10. Okay, who should be at number 9?
Oh man, there's just so many artists. Like you don't have any idea. I have so many artists going through my mind. I'm like 10 spots. That's not even enough. Um, Luther Vandross. Luther.
Ah, yes, one and only. Ooh, Luther Vandross, number 9. Yes, he started out with the group called Change with a hit called Searching, Glow of Love. Went on his own in 1981 with his hit Never Too Much
Never too
and
much.
other songs including Bad Boy, Having a Party, Stop to Love, There's Nothing Better Than Love. And he'll be best remembered for some of his remakes, including A House Is Not a Home,
Oh yes, I
Love
love
Will Make
that
You
song.
Wait, just the name of you.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll put Luther at number 9, but he'll be best remembered for doing those commercial jingles back then.
Hmm.
And yes, he was a guest appearance on Sesame Street. And I was watching some episodes, and
Oh
then
yeah,
when I
that's
saw
right.
Luther Vandross, that was
Yes.
him
Mm-hmm.
back then. I never knew that was Luther Vandross on an episode of Sesame Street back then. So, yes, we'll put Mr. Luther Vandross at number 9. Okay, who should be at number 8?
Um, I'm thinking Marvin Gaye. Let's put Marvin Gaye at number 8.
Okay, the great Marvin Gaye
Gaye.
started out in 1964 with Motown Records with his hits including
All the
Stubborn
time.
Kind of Fellow, Ain't That Peculiar, and then he will be best remembered for doing duets with the late Tammy Terrell. And then by 1971, he started changing. He made a concept album called What's Going On.
What's going
When
on?
he was getting ready to put out that album, Berry Gordy was furious when he was asking Marvin, why you want to do a protest album? You were known for love songs, but Marvin had a story to tell.
Yep.
He was trying to tell America what the concept album is. He was talking about his brother serving in Vietnam. He was talking about problems in the black community. And he was talking about the environment.
Mhm.
When his first single, What's Going On, dropped in the spring of 1971, it went to number one on Billboard's Soul Singles charts for 5 weeks. When his
Wow.
album dropped in May of 1971, two more songs. He had Mercy, Mercy Me, The Ecology, and Inner City Blues. He had other hits. He had the soundtrack album, Trouble Man,
Trouble Man. Yeah.
1972. 1973, Let's Get It
Let's
On,
get it
number
on.
one on
Ooh.
Billboard's Hot 100 Pop Singles charts, and also number one on Billboard's Soul Singles charts. He had a live album in 1974. He had another album in 1976 called I Want You. And 1977, he had the live at the London Palladium with his hit Got to Give It Up, number one on Billboard's Hot 100 Pop Singles charts and number one on Billboard's Soul Singles charts. And that song was later inspired by Robin Thicke, Blurred Lines.
Right.
And then when he switched over to Columbia CBS Records back in 1982, he had his LP called Midnight Love, number one hit Sexual Healing, number one on
Sexual
Billboard's R&B Black
healing.
Singles charts for 10 weeks. Back in
Yep.
December of 1982, he won an American Music Award and he won a Grammy Award for those hits. It was a long time coming for him.
Mhm.
And his last appearance was back in 1983 when he performed on the Motown 25th anniversary special on NBC. And then later he did the NBA All Star game with his version of the national anthem. And sadly, he and his father had an argument and he was shot and killed on the eve of his birthday.
Oh
And
man, didn't know
he
that.
will have been 45 on April 1st.
Wow.
And in 1987, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to the great Marvin Gaye.
That's amazing.
All right, who should be at number seven?
Um, Gladys Knight.
Ah, the one and only Gladys Knight representing the ATL of
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Mhm.
Along with the Pips,
The Pips.
they had a string of hits, including I've Heard It Through the Grapevine, Neither One of Us, I Don't Want to Do Wrong, If I Were Your Woman. And then they switched over to Buddha Records with their number
Mhm.
one hit, Midnight Train to Georgia, back in the fall of 1973. They had other hits, including On and The Makings of You from the movie Claudine,
Mhm.
1974. And then they had other hits. They did the remake of The Way We Were, and they switched over to Columbia CBS Records with their album called About Love with their top 10 hit, Landlord, and not another one in 1982 called Visions. They had their song called Save the Overtime for Me and You're Number One in My Book. And then when they parted ways, Gladys Knight kept on going. She had other hits, including License to Kill from the
Oh 7.
007 James Bond movie, License to Kill. And she did the remake of Superwoman along with Dionne Warwick and Patti LaBelle.
Mhm.
So we put Gladys Knight there, and she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the class of 1996. They won a Grammy Award and an American Music Award. So we'll put Gladys Knight at number
Number six.
seven.
Number seven.
All right, who should be at number six?
Number six. Hmm. I feel like even after watching the movie even more strongly, Ray Charles.
Alrighty, Ray Charles, will put him at number six. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the class of 1986. He was known for crossing genres.
Mhm.
He can sing R&B, he can sing soul,
Yep.
he can sing jazz, he can sing blues, and can even sing country music.
Yep.
And he had this LP called Modern Sounds in Country Western Music. He had a couple of hits, including I Can't Stop Loving You
Mhm.
and Well, You Don't Know Me. And one of his other songs came out called Nighttime is the Right Time back in 1956. And that was used in season two of The Cosby Show, the episode with the grandparents' anniversary. And
Oh.
when that song was played on that episode, I bought this 45 single at that oldie store
Oh.
back in the summer. So I said, I gotta get that song. Yes. So other songs came along, including Georgia on My
Georgia on my
Mind
mind.
and his rendition of America the Beautiful.
Mhm.
And yes, he appeared on so many variety shows and Saturday Night Live, just to name a few.
Mhm.
So rest in peace to the late, great Ray Charles at number six. All right, who should be at number five?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is hard. It's gotten so hard now. Like I feel like top five, top five. Okay. Mm, who would be at number five? Okay, so I love Charlie Wilson. I feel like Charlie Wilson doesn't get enough recognition. I feel like, he's done so much at a later age and I feel like he doesn't get as much respect in the industry, I feel like, as he deserves. But so Charlie Wilson, for me, I think would be number five.
Okay, we'll put Charlie, last name Wilson. No, we are not related. Charlie Wilson started with
Yes,
I had to put that in there.
I know.
Charlie Wilson, part of the Gap Band, started out in 1979 with their hits including Oops Upside Your Head and Yearning for Your Love. And also they had other hits in the 80s including Outstanding. And yes, when he went on his own, he had a string of hits back then. And his latest one was called My Valentine. So we got to put Charlie
Charlie at
Wilson
number
up there.
five.
We'll put Charlie Wilson at number five. All right, who should be at number four?
Oh my gosh, number four. Um. Oh man, I almost forgot to put Anita Baker up there. I really almost forgot. Yes, Anita Baker needs to be on the list. With all my
Yes,
heart,
Anita
I love
Baker at
you, baby.
number
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She needs to be on
yes.
the list.
Yes, coming out of Toledo, Ohio, when I first heard this lady sing from the Rapture LP, Sweet Love, and other ones caught up in the Rapture, and for my one of my favorites, Been So Long, that little smooth jazz.
Yes.
But when I was listening to The Quiet Storm back in the 90s, there was another album that we did not know about. And the name of the album was called The Songstress on an independent label, Beverly Glen label. And she had her song out called Angel. This is my first time hearing that song on The Quiet Storm late at night. And when I went to this record store called Coconuts, which later called FYE, I bought the Smooth Grooves CD, Volume 3, and I looked in the back and it said the group called Chapter 9 featuring Anita Baker. You mean Anita Baker was in that group?
That's
And
crazy.
the debut song was called I Just Wanna Be Your Girl. And yes, I would never
Wow.
knew that Anita Baker was started with that group, Chapter 9, and then went on solo with the LP The Songstress, and then her breakout LP Rapture, and other LPs, including Giving You the Best That I've Got, and Rhythm of Love, just to name a few. She won a Grammy and an American Music Award, hands down. So we'll put Anita Baker at number 4. All right, who should be at number 3?
I don't feel like I have enough slots left. There's too many amazing artists. Like, this is not fair. um Chantel Moore, listen, she has is one that I feel like doesn't get enough recognition about her amazing voice and her amazing music. Her whistle notes are off the chain, and she's still, traveling across the world and performing all over. I feel like she doesn't get enough praise and recognition for, her music and her talent.
Okay, so we'll put Shantae Moore. Yes. When she made her debut back in 1991 with Keith Washington. Yes. Oh my goodness. There, number 1. Candlelight and You. That was from the House Party 2 soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And when she had her other hits, Now That Love's Taking Over You. Love that song. They had that wonderful song in the background. And she had other hits, including Shantae's Got a Man, Old School Lovin', just to name a few. So we'll put Shantae Moore at number 3.
Oh my
All right,
God,
we're
it's
up
only
to
two
number 2
left.
now.
Ah, and this is just for it, now I'm thinking hard because like Beyonce's got to be number 2 because Michael Jackson I feel like is one of the greatest of all time. Across generations, Beyonce, she's right up there. Um, there's so many people I wish I could have put on this list. I wish it was a list of like 20. Then I would have been able to cram more people in there. But, I don't know if I did my list right, but I would say Michael Jackson would be my number 1 and Beyonce is the tight number 2.
Okay, so we'll put Beyonce at number 2. Started out with Destiny's Child and then went solo 2002, Crazy in Love and Deja Vu, B-Day, just to name a few.
Yep.
And she had some other LPs, including Lemonade. She had a country song called Daddy's Lessons.
Hmm.
And of course, her other LP, Break My Soul. And yes, her latest country album,
Cowboy
Cowboy
Carter.
Carter, number 1 on Billboard's top 200 albums charts, number 1 on Billboard's country albums charts, won a Grammy Award, 3 Grammys for Album of the Year,
Country
Best Country
album
Album,
of the
and
year.
duet with Miley
Yep.
Cyrus. So, yes. So, even that song, Texas Hold'em, that song was played in all of the clubs.
Hmm.
When I be going out on Friday night, when the DJ put on that Beyonce song, Texas Hold'em, they will start doing that line dance. And when I did my DJ gig back in December of 2023, they want to they want some line dances, but they don't want to hear no electric slide. They
Hmm.
don't want to hear no Cupid shuffle. They don't want to hear no Casper slide either. They want something new.
Yeah.
So I told them I got Beyonce, and they said, "Okay, put it on." I'll say they got the line dance, the new line dance.
Yep.
Yes. So Beyonce put her at number 2, and the King of Pop, Michael Jackson,
King of
at
Pop.
number 1.
Yep.
Started out with his brothers,
Jackson 5.
1969 with his brothers, all of his hits. Yes, all of his hits, including I Want You Back, ABC, The Love
Yep.
You Saved, Never Can Say Goodbye, Dancing Machine, and then switched over to Epic CBS Records, named The Jacksons, So they bring along with Randy.
Hmm.
They had their own variety show on CBS, and they had hits including Enjoy Yourself, Good Times, Let Me Show You the Way to Go. And when Michael broke out on with solo LPs, including Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous, just to name a few, let me tell you, he made some music videos, including Thriller and Bad and Dangerous, 15-minute music videos.
Never
And
seen a
it
video that
almost like
long.
a movie.
Yeah,
So, yes, never would have seen it that long, 15 minutes.
yeah.
So, hands down, we'll put down Michael Jackson, Grammy Award winner,
Number one.
American Music Award winner, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his brothers in 1997 and again in 2001.
Yep.
So, rest in peace to the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Well, Nayo, thank you so much for being here on the Black Soul Music Experience
Thank you
podcast.
for having
It's
me.
been a pleasure talking with you, and you're welcome. Although we got off on a slow start, but we picked
We
things up.
got it
As I
together. We
always
got it
say, the
together.
show must go on. Yes, we got it together. Well, most importantly, thank you for sharing your stories with me and with the audience. Um, Wonderful. You went from a negative to a positive, something with your songs. And yes, I got a chance to listen to some of it. As I always say, music is the healing force of the world.
Yeah.
It brings people together, it unites us, it lifts us, it moves us, and it inspires us.
Yep.
So that's the purpose of my podcast is all about. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, before we go, where can we follow you for any upcoming events and where can we follow you on social media?
Well, you guys could follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or my YouTube channel. I always upload and promote all of my new music videos and performances on all my social media platforms. You can download my music on Apple, Spotify, anywhere there's a platform that you can download music. I'm updating with my distribution every week for new platforms to upload my music to for it to be streamed. So I'm wherever you can find music. But like I said, whenever I have a performance, I usually, on my TikTok, I forgot about TikTok. I usually upload it on all the platforms. So if you don't follow me on one platform, you'll see it on another. So all the information for that will be on, all of my platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. It's everywhere.
Okay, and please come on back when there's any upcoming things that is happening.
Oh
You're
yes,
invited to
yes, I
come
have
on back.
music coming up. I haven't dropped my the rest of the project. It's called Seasons. Winter is just the single from the Seasons project. But yeah, I got stuff that happened after this relationship didn't work out, and I got more stories to tell. So definitely, we'll come back and like elaborate more on the dot 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 of my life and what's happening now. So,
Okay. Download all the artists that we have talked about on this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Visit iTunes.com, Spotify.com, or purchase a CD at Amazon.com. Make sure you follow Nayo Dez. She is on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Check out her new music available now on Spotify and Apple Music. And check out all of her music videos streaming online right now on YouTube. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out this episode, please subscribe by going to the link. The link is riverside.fm/studio/Samuel Wilson Jr.'s. Don't forget to add the S at the end, dash studio. And yes, I will be posting this episode on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And if you have a hard time getting onto Riverside, then please become a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And if you have a hard time getting on to Patreon, I will be posting this episode on YouTube. And please pass it on. Thank you for joining me as I close out this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience. Well, that's about it for this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. I'm Sam Wilson Jr. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week for an all-new episode. The Black Soul Music Experience Podcast is sponsored by the support of listeners like you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe by going to riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s-studio. And don't forget to check out my audio podcast episodes by becoming a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And also check out my video podcast episodes by subscribing to youtube.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And please leave your comments, feedbacks, and replies by going to my Facebook homepage. Visit facebook.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And you can also tweet me on X, aka Twitter, at Sam Wilson Jr. 66. As always, parting, remember this: reach for the top and your dreams will come true, and it can happen to you. From all of us, take care, God bless. Thanks for listening, have a good week, and please be safe.